Hello, random YouTube viewers that happen across this stream. This is the random stream, I guess. I don't really have a good name for it. It was definitely a spontaneous decision to stream since it's been a long time since I streamed. So I decided I would go ahead and start this stream up. It's been a little bit, yeah, it's been 3 weeks, maybe 4, since I've streamed it all, so I figured I owe it to the stream viewers to do at least a stream a week, you know, maybe more. So this is my attempt at doing so. some return to normalcy. It's hot. It is freaking hot. I don't know how the rest of the world is, but I know in the States, in most places right now, it's disgusting outside and probably inside your house as well. So hopefully you're bearing through that, because I mean, crappy weather is a good way to make your days pretty crappy, because especially when it's like this hot and humid outside, even if you're inside in semi-air conditioned, you know, in a semi-air conditioned house, it still just makes you want to sleep. Just spend your day in bed with no blanket rather than getting up. I think that's how I feel, at least. I feel like I don't want to get up and do anything, because everything you do like makes you sweat. It's like, oh, I want to go up and go to the fridge and get a snack. Oh, well, I'm already sweating. But I'm like central US, so. I think I'll spend the majority of this stream just chilling here and farming too. I haven't really decided yet if there's anything specific I wanted to cover. I am doing this like multi-game window thing. I know there's like purists for both games who are like going to be triggered that both games are on the same screen. I hear a lot of people asking if they think that if other people think that Dungeon Hunters is going to be like the next Summoner's War. I don't think so. I think that the games are too dissimilar in enough ways where that won't be the case. Oh, I do have some stuff I want to talk about. I still haven't chosen the unit for my next transmog. And for a free-to-play player, transmogs are really exciting. Or at least for me, transmogs are really exciting. And I've got 100 or more than 100 transmog stones, so it's time that I select the next unit who's gonna get a nice little wardrobe change. I've been thinking Galleon, just because I guess that's the standard way to go, but apparently his animations take a little bit longer in his transmogged form, or at least his time to loot takes longer. So I don't know if I want to do that just for efficiency's sake. Delacroix, thanks for the host. That's sick, dude. What's up, man? But yeah, I don't want to not waste, I guess, because transmog and Galleon probably wouldn't be a waste because I'll be using them forever. But I feel like a lot of people get sick of their transmogs anyways, especially on units that you're gonna see every time you do something. So I'd much rather use it on a unit that's more flashy, you know? I feel like Galleon is is just used so much that the transmog on him wouldn't be worth it. I was thinking Nat 5s, but the thing is, I'm gonna sound like a terrible person for saying this, I don't use most of my Nat 5s. I use a good amount of Charlotte, but she's already transmogged. I don't really use Rakan a terrible amount, you know. I use him occasionally in Guild Wars, and I definitely use him in Guild Siege because I don't have many Guild Siege units built. And he's on Will right now, so he actually works pretty well for some Guild Sieges. But I don't think he'd be really worth the transmog, especially because I'm not really impressed with the whole Rockstar Chimera transmog. So. I mean, and I thought about Hraesvelg too. I'm so glad I put that backdrop there for DHC. I knew that it was gonna crash enough where it would be comedically worth it to have it there. But I'm trying to think of who else we could play around with. Wind Monkey's I mean Wind Monkey's transmog is sick, you know. Don't get me wrong. Wind Monkey floating on a cloud is pretty cool looking. But again, another unit I don't really use. I thought about using him for raids as a frontliner. And I know he's got potential for damage output and to be able to tank things, since you're naturally going to build him more as a bruiser anyways. But I don't know. I don't really see myself using him in raids. Just because there's better options, not because I don't think he could be viable. I think there's a lot of potentially viable units for raids. And the thing is, I want to pick the units that are going to be not only the strongest in raids, but at least have like one other purpose outside of it. The only unit I'm building for raids that doesn't really have a huge purpose outside of raids right now is probably Miang. The rest of my raid team is going to have a purpose somewhere. I have the list of the raid monsters I was building and their stats and stuff like that. Let's see. I was gonna do, so Fire Panda, Fire Harpoo, Fire Neostone Agent, Water Kung Fu Girl, Fire Rakshasa, and Water Sky Dancer. So it's like, I don't know, Zhang Fei. I could use him in Necro potentially. Also, he's used in some Guild War comps, some weird Guild War comps I've seen him been used in the past. He's a pretty cool unit. He's got a bunch of harmful effects. I could probably also pair him with a unit that does bonus damage based on harmful effects and make some fun damage composition. I don't know. Water Sky Dancer. So let's just get straight to it. Miang. Outside of raids, if I put her on like really good runes, which I probably will if she's gonna be one of my main raid cleansers, one of my 2 raid cleansers. I don't know. Because if I used her in RTA, the problem is I'd like to build her like I would build a damage-dealing Yanhong, almost. And yes, she pales in comparison to Yanhong, I understand, but if I used her in RTA, I'd want to put her on a fast, violent damage build. Ooh, that's not good. We stop Galleon, at least. But I'd want her to have some damage output. Hey, Commander Root, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it, man. Let's see, do we have... There we go. Jesus. Seemed a bit loud. But, yeah, if I built her for RTA, I'd want like a speed, crit damage attack with some HP defense subs, and maybe even some accuracy. And I'd put her on like a damage violent build. And again, she'd have to be super fast. So, I mean, if I was using her in raids anyways, the problem is in raids, I probably couldn't get away with that, just because she needs so many stats. Although I was thinking about putting her in backline. The only problem with putting her in backline is it means that the Water Kung Fu Girl would probably end up in the front line, because I really don't want to put Hua in the front line, because if I put Hua in the front line, Hua's just going to get annihilated and have like 0 damage output anyways, so... But I've considered that too. I mean, I'm not like, I've talked about this in my videos quite a bit. I'm not really stressed at all about like getting into raids, but just having the teams prepared and built puts me a little bit more at ease, just because when the time comes, I know what I'm getting into. Something I didn't really talk about much in my From the Crumbs series that I've like been working on really hardcore, like behind the scenes. And there's not a lot of behind the scenes stuff I do when I like make Summoners War content or when I'm progressing through the game. Mostly up front, it's mostly like, okay guys, here's what I'm going to do in the next week. And then I go and I try my best to do that, and likely I don't 100% do whatever it is I was set out to do that week. But in this case, I've been working on building up the boomerang 2 Boomerang Warriors and 2 Chakram Dancers, namely the Wind and Water twins. And they're a lot of fun. They're so much fun. Mostly the animations. Animations are amazing to watch, and then the damage output is crazy. Don't pay attention to her stats. Those don't matter right now. But I was playing around with her on this like Fatal Blade set that has really okay speed subs. And it was just some leftover runes because I didn't take runes off of anybody to rune her up. I just wanted to see what she did. Just in farming a scenario mode, just watch the animations, see generally what the damage output looked a little bit like. And oh man, she's fun. Also, like crazy damage output in dragons, which was one of the big reasons why I want to play around with her, because she's like multi-purpose. So if I put her in my giants team, it's not like I would be this is so, man, they could be used anywhere, like, Arena and Guild Wars and Guild War Offense are like such a great multi-purpose unit. I could put her into Giants, Dragons, and Necro even, just because, when enemies don't have beneficial effects on them, she's going to be doing massive damage, and even if they do, it's going to increase her survivability, and the survivability of, I think, the chakrams she's with, I believe, I have to check this out on the wiki page. I'm sure someone's discovered this by now, but just in case someone is paying attention to what I'm saying and is actually taking my word for it, I should probably double check. I believe this works for other units with her as well, the third skill. Passive affected Chakram Dancers on its own turn. All Boomerang, okay. Only on their turn. Huh. All of the Boomerang Warriors grant their passive effect only on their turns. Okay. Okay, so on the Chakram Dancer's turn, the Chakram Dancer also gets this. Okay. Yeah, and then she reduces all the damage taken as well, which is pretty cool. Because then there's a lesser chance of her dying, which in Giants is going to be especially important, because we're not going to have a stripper in Giants if I take her into Giants for whatever reason. With whatever team I build her in, there's not going to be any units that remove beneficial effects. So it's going to give her survivability, especially in Giants where she's element neutral with the boss. That's why I've been farming. I've been leveling food all day, because I 6-starred one of the twins earlier. I 6-starred Sabrina earlier, and I wanted to at least get the water chakram done today. So at least I have one pair of twins. She's a little bit better on crit damage and a little bit lower on attack, but she's about the same, doing the same thing. Her accuracy is also lower. One thing to note about them is that you do want some accuracy, that's so you could land, although it doesn't matter on her, you don't need accuracy on her, so I guess the accuracy is I could probably switch out a rune or two. Whatever, free rune removal's coming up. When that comes up, these girls are probably going to get my best runes, or at least till the end of the day, so I could play around with them. But I want to level her up too, because she's good for some reason. Yes, when they have less HP, they take more damage. That's what it was about. I knew that there was some reason that I liked the water twins in specific, and I know the water boomerang is like the best elemental in terms of raw damage output, and I know the water one's also pretty decent. So, and I didn't want to mix and match the sets too much, because if I made one water and one wind so that I could play around with them in Giants, it also means I couldn't play around with them in Dragons, because you just don't generally want to bring wind monsters to Dragons unless it's like very specific monsters, or you're doing a really weird team, like some crazy survive with Chisoon comp, which I've seen before, but I don't know, I think that team turns out turns out to be pretty awkward in the end, just the way that the units move and all that. But I do want to get the water ones leveled up and at least ruined with my best runes for one day. I've heard they don't need skill ups to even show how amazing they can be. Doesn't mean I don't plan on skilling them up, but if they don't need skill ups right now and I could get away with not skilling them up and still using them in dungeon teams, that would be insane, because the last thing I want to do is divert even more Devilmons away from the units I'm Devilmoning now. I've got so many units in my box that just want Devilmons or need Devilmons in order to have any viability in the places I'd like to bring them. And there's so many units that I don't have enough Devilmons to Devilmon them. And I'm not really a pay-to-win player. The amount that I spend on this game is like nothing compared to somebody who is dropping money on packs all the time. Like I just got the 2 4-year anniversary packs, and those were like the first 2 packs I've gotten in months. So I don't really have the luxury of constantly being able to buy the Devilmon packs, because if you do, I mean, basically 3 weeks per worth of progression per package. I mean, that's pretty good in terms of like time efficiency. So you can progress pretty quickly, pretty fast with those. And I mean, I don't know, I think that's pretty impressive. Their team up skills reduce each other's cooldowns, which is, I think, the main reason why you can get away with not using them or not having them max skilled. Also, 1 turn's not a huge deal. Another huge thing is, much like Tark, the reason why Tark is so good on Violent is just because getting a ridiculous amount of team ups and reducing your cooldown, the cooldown of your team multiple times in a row is insane. The Boomerang Warriors and the Chakram Dancers are insane for the same reasons, because every skill they use, they team up with another one of their sisters and reduce the other one's cooldowns. So, I mean, multiple violent procs in a row can mean completely resetting cooldowns, which is nuts, I mean. And especially because even cooldown-based skills aside, just the damage on their their auto or their regular skill is ridiculous. They have really good multipliers, and for Net 4 is pretty good base stats given the multipliers. I feel like usually you see a unit where you kind of get an imbalance, or you see one or the other. You see either great multipliers but pretty crap base attack, or you see really terrible multipliers but you have good enough base stats to make up for the multipliers. But all around, I mean, they're just like amazing units. Like I said, they're just absolutely gorgeous to watch fight. It's just so like graceful seeing them all just team up together. Something about it is really satisfying when they fight. I hope they come up with transmogs for him soon too. I know a lot of people will get them, and I didn't even realize, until I really started doing research on the Boomerang Warriors and the Chakram Dancers, I didn't realize how much people used them. I understood that people like to play around with them in Necro, and that they had some people had played around with the Wind ones in Arena or RTA and seen huge damage results because you could ignore invincibility, ignore shields, ignore defense buffs and all that. But I didn't know the extent to which people were putting them to use until I saw a few videos by like some Guardian level players, like end game players, making entire speed teams that centered around using these twins. And I was really impressed with the damage results. And yes, Guardian 1, even Conqueror 2 and up, you're going to start seeing, crazy damage out of just about any nuker you build. But, they were getting sub 40 second times in Giants, and, 35 second Dragons B10 and 45 second Necro B10 times using these twins. And they were like, using 10 units total for the 3 other dungeon teams, rather than having 3 teams of 5 different units on each team, which I just thought was impressive and really neat to see. So if I could get anything that even resembles that result, and I don't even mean in terms of really fast times, but in terms of like usability in multiple dungeons together, like it's so efficient in terms of rune spreading. Because one huge problem in this game is not only getting those really good runes, but being able to divvy them up. So say you only have a few sets of really good runes, divvying them up between monsters in order to make multiple teams, or enable to have an arena team in addition to your dungeon farming teams sometimes. And being able to have one rune set be able to translate into results in multiple dungeons is just really efficient for progression. which is why I really want, like, am pushing forward to use them. And I don't even have the fire Chakram Dancer, and she's the one who's really, you know, churning out those amazing results with the AoE defense break. She essentially eliminates Galleon, which is really, really nice. And she's got quite a few chances to AoE defense break before the enemy moves, whereas Galleon just has like the one that he uses when there's one enemy left with 10 HP. And if I could find a reason to replace Galleon, I'd be pretty excited. Don't get me wrong, Galleon's a sick unit, but I could not count, you know, if I spent all day shouting off numbers one by one, I could not count the amount of times that Galleon has failed me in dungeons. So, like, most of the time if I wipe, right, at any stage of the game, I mean, even when I did my speed Dragon Speed 10 team, and my towers were not anywhere near max. I had a level 5 speed tower, a level 2 or a level 3 crit damage tower, and a level 1 in all of the attack towers. I was able to do a sub 1 minute Dragon Speed 10 team, and this was a while ago. This was Vertihil, Galleon, Stella, Chilling, and Tark. And it was a very, I want to say, sustain heavy speed team, if that sounds anywhere near correct. It wasn't the typical just YOLO face team, even though just about every speed team you do that's going to hit under a minute is going to be. The team had Chilling in there, which was supposed to be, you know, a backup, so that even if your team wasn't able to destroy the boss before the immunity comes up, your team was able to, you know, use Chilling's beneficial effect removal in order to at least still finish the run, even if it took 1:30 instead of, you know, less than a minute. But that team would fail a lot just because Galleon wouldn't time to loot when I knew for a fact he had it up. And there's some points in time where I was counting out the turns, you know, till Galleon had his time to loot up again, because I really wanted to pay attention to the team and see what I could do in terms of speed tuning, in terms of rune priority, in order to make it more efficient. And the runs I really paid attention to, 80% of the runs where I lost, and it was about a 70 to 75% success rate team, which was, I think, pretty decent, not having, you know, maxed towers and never touching raid and being at the point in the game I was at going into it. I thought it was pretty nice, and I found out most of that, you know, loss. So it would have been like a 90 to 95% success rate team had Galleon just used his time to loot when it was up. And I think that's like a crazy. I don't know what's going on with his AI. That would possess him to use anything but time to loot. I feel like the way the AI needs to work, or should work, to make like dungeon runs more efficient is, if Galleon has time to loot up, he uses time to loot, regardless of any other factor, right? Because at least if a unit would always use their third skill if it was up, you could at least start to understand what's going on with them. Because it's hard to build a team around so many variables. Because the game already has enough variables between accuracy and resistance and all of that. So, I mean, having to build your team around extra randomness that shouldn't make sense in the game anyways, you know, or that shouldn't exist in the game anyways, is a little bit frustrating, to say the least. Because I could have been farming, you know, Dragon Speed 10 sub 1 minute this entire time, and I probably would have had my success rate been above 80% even though that is still not up to what I would say is par. Because for me, it's like anything under 90% success rate is really pushing it to be worth my time, worth my crystals. Because, you know, when you're doing 200 to 300 crystals of farming per day, it's not efficient for, you know, 80 crystals, or, you know, 80 or more crystals worth of refreshes to be failures, because it's a waste of your in-game currency. Now, if you're pay to win and you just want to brute force the game, yeah, that result can probably push you really far, really fast, you know? Just make a stupid fast YOLO team that finishes in 40 seconds. Who cares if it has 60% success rate? But when you're like a player that's mostly free to play, because I have spent some money on the game for sure, but when you're a player that's mostly free to play and you don't have the luxury of constantly being able to afford more crystals, you have to really think about what you're doing in terms of in terms of, you know, spending your currency in game. You know, you really have to manage your resources, which is why I even cringe a little bit at having to use my own monster to farm these stages. I just don't have a friends list of good enough reps, and that's, you know, that's on me. That's not like the game is limiting me anywhere. That's just me not going out of my way to find, you know, better reps to use. Because, like, you know, there's some people on my list who just either just don't play the game as much or just aren't where I am in the game. You know, they're Challenger 2 players or Challenger 1 players, or they got to level 50, got excited, they summoned their light and dark scroll, and they got a monster they liked, so they made it their rep. And, you know, that's cool. That just doesn't really cut it for farming a Fame and Hell stage. But that little rant aside, I think with what, 3 hours, 4, almost 5 hours worth of double XP left, we're going to be able to get this little lady 6-starred, which is going to be super exciting because, I mean, it's like, what, not 6 days away till free rune removal comes around, so then I'll be able to play with some new units in my dungeon teams, which is always fun. I always love throwing new units into dungeon teams, and not because it'll always make it faster, but for the most part, I like to do it because it keeps my interest in the game. You know, to constantly like farm and constantly, you know, try to make conscious efforts to progress in the game. I feel like it's really important to find something about the game or something you can do each day when you play the game to keep the game really interesting and really fresh and new. And I think the best way to do that for me is to just change around a unit or two in my Giants team or Dragons team each month, so that I'm not staring at the same units doing the same thing in the same blue dungeon every single day, because I'll just go insane. Also, it'll make for stale content, so I think it's like a win-win-win scenario by building these twins. Also, maybe it'll push me into Necro, play around in Necro a little bit. Another area of the game where I'm not really worried about getting into, but if I did, I'd be super excited because there are some units in my box that I would like Vampire on, or one in particular, which is Rakan. Just because Rakan is insane, I really, really, really love Rakan, and I do have some decent will runes, having never farmed Necro before, that make him usable in some areas of the game, but I don't have him on any Vampire runes, which means that his survivability is pretty low. Because he gets to that point where it's like a 1v4 that he could win if he was on Vampire, you know? And his stats aren't even really that insane because he's on like a Blade Energy will, I believe it is. It's nothing super special. It's an HP crit damage HP, so it's more of a damage dealer sort of Rakan, but it's, I don't know, he's still a really fun unit to play with. And it would just be nice to have the Vampire set on him so I could use him in more places. Not because I need him, of course, because you don't really need Vampire for any sort of like progression. It's one of those sets that's just kind of a bonus. And I feel like that's true for like all sets in Necro. Like, you don't really need any of the Necro sets. They're kind of just there as a plus, you know? Like, a lot of people feel rushed into Rage sets, even though Rage doesn't really provide a significant benefit difference between, between itself and Fatal. You can get, probably even better stats out of Fatal runes just because you've been in Giant so long. It's honestly just about the stats you can hit. But those sets that provide some kind of external bonus that isn't stat related are the sets that are like, they're just really fun to have. Like Violent. Everybody wants Violent sets. And speaking of Violent, I got to put my Veramos on Violent runes recently for TOA Hard 93. So typically my Veramos is on a damage dealer build, like a Swift Blade, attack crit damage attack. And he's great. I love him as a damage dealer in Giants. He brings like so much consistency. The problem is I needed an HP lead and an element neutral stunner for TOA Hard 93, the Ragdoll Leo stage. And Veramos just fit that bill. I just didn't have other units that I would trust in that position to reliably land land their stuns, so I went ahead and I put Veil on some leftover violent energy runes I had. He worked really, really well, and it was really fun to watch him violent proc like 6 times, some stupid amount of violent procs that I would have never expected to see. So it was really neat because I don't normally get to see a lot of violent procs because I don't really farm a lot of dragons. Dragons runes have never really been my my focus or my goal, More than anything, I want to be able to clear all the areas of the game, and I want units, that do a lot of damage. I want units that are really fast, and you could get everything I can get everything that I want out of the game from just giants. And for me, dragons is more like the way I take a break from giants. Because I honestly don't believe that my progression is going to be significantly improved by going into, dragons B10. Although, it would be nice for Lisa to get some Dragons B10 runes. Like, let's see this Wind Panda. Okay. It's an interesting Wind Panda build. And no more fire monsters. Okay. Let's see. Got some events going on these accounts. Always farming. I feel like there's never a point in the day where I'm on less than 2 devices, at least, for the different accounts. I'm just constantly switching from one to the next. And farming and summoning. Oh! Holy shit! You guys see that in the chat, don't you? So I just skipped this lightning. I got lightning. So these are 2 mystical scrolls from the event. This was day 8 of the event or whatever like that. The 8th rune that I've crafted. So I had points. Holy shit. Oh my god. What a god tier unit too. This is like a double S tier arena unit. Oh my god. So, Jesus. Oh yeah. So I went ahead and this is the Leica account. This is one of my alternate accounts. So I saw the lightning and I was like, oh whatever, I'll just take my garbage net 4, and I skipped the lightning because I was like, oh, it's just gonna be garbage. Nope, that's definitely not garbage. Oh man, that's insane. That's really, really exciting too because, wow, yeah, that's a new net 5. I can't wait to use him in Arena. AoE Despair Damage Dealer, that's cool. Man, it's not that the game owes me anything, and not that it's realistic to ever expect any sort of consistency in terms of summoning rates out of this game, but it's been a long time in terms of all of my accounts since I've gotten a Nat 5, and so I think it came time for me to get a Nat 5. Super excited, right? And I'm not gonna dull the excitement too much by saying this, but I'm sure you all can imagine that I wish I had gotten that on my main account. However, that is the second speed lead unit that I've pulled on the Leica account. The last one being Chiwu, or the previous one being Chiwu. Chiwu was another one of those units where it was like, that's pretty exciting to get. That's insane though. So now I've got a Samath. I was thinking about what am I gonna talk about in the Leica video tomorrow, because I make a Leica series. And I think I've got my topic of discussion. Oh boy, now I have to farm the Kairos dungeon in order to awaken this guy. Which sucks, because I only have like 150 crystals on this account. But I'm just going to have to power through it and get the highs for this guy. How do you get a Samath and not awaken him and instantly use him? He's insane everywhere. He's so good in Arena. 33% speed lead. Like, oh man. Arena offense and defense teams. Put them on like a high damage despair set. Oh, that's unreal. It's one of those units where it's like, it's never been on my wish list, but it's like one of those units you get and you're like, yep, that's godlike, you know? When it comes to units where I'm like, oh, I really want this unit, it's like obviously the Dragon Knights. The dragons are very, you know, like the cliche, I want that unit kind of unit. And, you know, some quality Nat 5s, but it's like, man. When I think Fairy King, I think about the first Transcendent scroll I ever opened, which was the Fire Fairy King, and I was like, yep, I knew what was going to happen with that $100. But this one's like, oh man, I'm not getting over this anytime soon. It's especially exciting because I don't have any other despair units that require damage dealer sets. So he's going to have 100% of my... He would have had 100% of my rune priority in terms of despair and blade runes anyways, because he's such a nutty unit. But I have no unit that requires any sort of attack or despair runes, so he's going to have, you know, complete access to that rune pool. That's crazy too. I was just thinking, like, you know, I'm kind of owed a Nat 5 on one of these accounts. The Leica account did it. I guess that means I'm gonna have to push up in arena more. I think it's gonna mean my defense is more successful. I think generally people are scared of Samath, or at least if they understand Samath or if they've had previous experience with Samaths, they might be less inclined to attack. But if I use him on defense, I'm probably just going to use like a fast nuker team with him, you know, like a Samath, Bernard, Galleon, you know, AoE damage dealer, which is, you know, Samath is an AoE damage dealer, but, you know, some team like that. Maybe even put my Leica in there. I feel like that would be a pretty solid team. Just because it's scary and it can put out more damage, and if my runes are faster, which they probably won't be, but if my runes are faster with the speed lead, there's a less, you know, a less likely chance I lose, and there's potential for arena defense wins. But mostly as a scary team. And now in arena offense, I mean, I'll be, yeah. In the arena offense teams, you know, I'm definitely going to be using him. Put him on some really good runes. So I know what I'm doing on free rune removal. The problem is, I pulled a Lucian a while back. How is that going to affect Lucian? Especially because if I don't have good enough despair runes, which I'm not sure if I do, I haven't gone through my despair pool in a while. If I don't have good enough despair runes, like what am I gonna do? Am I gonna end up having to take some stuff from Lucian, or I don't know. Also, a quick aside, I talk about this on a lot of my videos. I don't save up scrolls because saving up scrolls equals disappointment. And that's the kind of stuff that happens when you don't save up scrolls. I feel like there's nothing more exciting than just like that crazy 2-scroll Nat 5, you know? Yes, I've summoned probably 70 scrolls, which is still a really good rate. It's probably been like 70 scrolls since my last Nat 5, maybe 80 on the Leica account. Because I don't, like I said, I don't get scrolls. I don't buy scrolls. I just get scrolls from TOA and from drops. But it's probably been a solid 70 or 80 scrolls since I got a Nat 5, since I got like Chiwu. So getting that is like really, really insane. And it was within, you know, the 2 scrolls. So, you know, I skipped the lightning thinking that it wasn't going to be that great. And you have this expectation of, oh, okay, you know, hopefully I get a skill up for my Kung Fu Girl. Or actually there's this Nat 3 that I've been, you know, thinking about building, or I need some more food. And then you summon that scroll and you get a Nat 5, and it's like, wow, this is amazing. Whereas if you save up a whole bunch of scrolls, like a ridiculous amount of mystical scrolls, and you summon 300 mystical scrolls and you don't get a Nat 5, you're pissed off. You're like, man, I've been saving scrolls for the past 10 years of my life, and all I got was a bunch of water magic knights. It's like, well, you know, the game is just like that inconsistent, where I don't know. Sometimes the inconsistency is your best friend, and sometimes it like breaks your heart. Either way, whew, Samantha's gonna get some love on this account. It's so cool. I have a new unit to make a video about. That's probably the most exciting part, is because I haven't made any independent unit videos in a long time. I've talked about units on From the Crumbs and the Leica videos, but I haven't really done any just single this unit, this is what they do, this is why they're good videos. I did a general Paladins video a while back. I'm not sure exactly how that was received. I think people were like, okay, they're Paladins, we don't really care. Which is fine, you know. I was just kind of giving my input on the Paladins more than anything. Talking about why I thought they were cool, what I would use them for. But I think for this one, I'm going to have some interesting stuff to show. Also, the arena leadership skill applies in RTA, meaning that now I have at least 2 units, which I can't wait to get to a point where I can use an RTA. Like Leica, oh my god. Leica is not by any means an S tier unit in RTA, but he can be a lot of fun. Oh man, that Elder Drake's health was really low. But I've seen some stupid stuff happen with Leicas, so we're gonna be pushing our way through on the Leica account a lot more now. That's crazy. That is some. I haven't been this excited about a summon in a long time. I think the last time I was this excited, well, it was probably on the Leica account. Last time I was this excited is when I pulled the Lucian on the Leica account. Man. Oh, well, gotta switch over mains now, guys. Let's see. You know, I haven't seen good rune drops today. I usually get my, like, 1 rune a day from Giants, and then I'm like, okay, that's all I need. You know, I just need one solid rune per day, and if I just get the 1 solid rune per day, then I'm okay for the rest of the day. You know, I'm like, okay, that's fine. I accept it. Just one rune where I'm like, I could use that on somebody. And if I get that 1 rune per day, then for the rest of the day, it doesn't matter what I get, you know? And it kind of like, if I get that within my first, like, 2 hours of playing Summoner's War, it's really good, like, morale boost. And it really gets me, like, just pumping through the dungeons the rest of the day. And I'm like, I just constantly, for the rest of the day, have that mindset of, okay, I pulled my good rune. The only thing I'm doing now is, you know, farming for mana so that I can go eventually power that rune up. You're watching a bunch of ads right now. Are you getting bits? Jeez. But yeah, I just need that 1 good rune where I can say, okay, this is my, like, progress for the day. Because that's kind of what the rune signifies to me. And it kind of is. The rune is, if you get 1 good rune a day, then it's like, that's progress, right? That's 1/6 of a unit. Potentially 1/6 of a unit. So, so you can, you know, look at the rune and be like, okay, that's like that much closer, or whatever, however much closer to whatever my end goal with that rune would be. 84 bits currently. And especially damage dealer runes. I've been getting a lot of those lately, actually. I have like a stupid amount of slot 5 like fatal runes with really good stats, like speed, crit rate, crit damage, attack. And then I have some HP, crit rate, crit damage, attack, and then some HP, crit rate, crit damage, defense runes. So I have some good nuker, some good bruiser, and then some good support attacker runes as well. By support attacker, I mean units like Stella, units with debuffs as well as damage output. And my slot 5 is just absolutely stacked. It's like 15-20 runes, which is, I mean, for me, I feel like that's a lot, especially compared to the amount of runes I have in the other slots for the same stuff. I only really have like 2 or 3 decent fatal slot 2 attack percentages, and not many in other slots. This is kind of a weird rune. It's a legend rune with the speed inbuilt, and the problem is, I'm gonna keep it for now, and I'll decide later. It's just weird. I know it's a legendary 6-star rune, but HP resistance accuracy doesn't make sense to me, really. Because in raids, you only need like 15% accuracy for a unit to land their stuff reliably, I believe. Maybe you don't need it at all. I think you need like 15% accuracy, though, because the raid boss has 30%. So if I were to use that on some sort of raid unit, and it would have to be a raid unit that doesn't care about being kind of slow because the speed is inbuilt, it would have to roll mostly into HP and resistance. And I mean, even then, I would rather have defense on there than accuracy. And of course, it has that flat attack, so there's not much I can do. Or the flat, I'm sorry, flat HP on there? No, flat. It had the flat stat on there. That doesn't help either. So, I don't know. The rune's just weird all around. But I'm going to keep it for now. I usually do that, because it's always better, like, safe than sorry, you know? You could always sell a rune later. You can't just unsell a rune that you could have used. Especially because you don't know the value of a rune, or the true value of a rune, until you've compared it to other runes in the same or corresponding sets. You know, like, yeah, maybe you have a rune that's just stacked with accuracy or stacked with HP, defense, resistance, but no speed. You know, maybe you have other runes that are stacked with speed but missing the very stats you have on that rune. Or at least that's like the mindset I take when I hold a bunch of runes, because I usually keep a lot more runes than I should initially, but then I go through on a mass selling spree and then get like 1,000,000 mana worth of rune sales done. So, like, in the end, it's not like that much of a difference was made, but I had the chance to take a second look at it compared to other runes to see if there was any potential usability. Because you never want to sell a rune and then be like, oh crap, that might have actually been good. Because I've done that, in the past, like, at least even in the first like 3 or 4 months on this account, I'm sure there were countless runes that like would be perfect, or the kind of runes I'm looking for right now that I sold back then. Because in terms of raid, for a like raid frontline unit, when you're looking for the really high HP, defense, and resistance, that stuff in the beginning of the game, or at least when you're first starting to get into mid game when you're farming Giants B10, you're like, this doesn't have speed, I don't want this Swift rune. You like sell it like that, and then you look back now and you're like, you're talking to your past self, and you're just like, what are you doing, man? that rune has so much usability. And I mean, there must have been a few dozen runes where it was like that, where it had like, it could have had godlike defense or something. Even now, I'm sure there's going to be runes that I sell where in the future I would have been looking for something at least similar, although I think I'm fairly educated in terms of what runes I want to keep. So I'm going to head to the bathroom and refill my water bottle, and I'll be back in 1 second, but I'll keep these runs going, so enjoy that. Hello, I'm back. I got some water. I got 3 different types of cookies. I couldn't resist. They're getting like all soft and melty because they've been in the cabinet, and in this weather it's like they don't survive. And so these cookies, like, you go to pick them up and they just like fall apart, you know. They're super good. This one's peanut butter cookie. Could have sold a whole bunch that you would cringe by if you went there to help me. Yeah. Yeah, I frequently go on a Starry Night's account to check out what kind of runes she keeps and sells, and for the most part, she knows what runes to keep. If anything, sometimes she keeps more than she should, you know? Which, in my experience and in my opinion, it's much better to keep more runes than you should than to not keep enough. Because like, you could always sell runes later. It's always nice to have some perspective when selling your runes, you know, rather than just saying, you know, giving some sort of arbitrary thought to it and thinking, oh, it's, you know, it's not a good rune because of this reason. Oh, it can't be a 24 speed rune, it sucks. There's quite a few things I've been thinking about content-wise. One of them was account improvement. And I really don't know how many people would be into, you know, the idea of some stranger logging onto their account, you know, and for good reason. I would never let some random person log onto my account, to be 100% honest. But I've been thinking to do, you know, about doing a whole account improvement series where I can actually make a ridiculous amount of videos. That's the big thing, is that the quantity of videos. And I understand that growing any sort of YouTube channel or any kind of Twitch channel requires the next level of consistency, as well as bringing some sort of content that's either informative or entertaining in some way that it stands out from other people's content. And I think that one of the biggest ways I can grow my channel is doing something like that, where I improve accounts, because I feel like I've got a really good understanding of what you need to do in order to progress, and the actions you need to take, and the steps you need to, you know, take to proceed, and the units that are smart to build, and, you know, basically timing. And timing means a lot in Summoner's War in terms of when you delve on something, when you jump into what dungeon, you know, all that sort of timing. So I think that I could be fairly helpful in getting people to progress. Oh no, we got another mystical scroll on the light guy account. No more lightning, please. Any more lightning is scary from here. I'm already not going to have Devilmons for the Samath. But I think I'm going to do it just because I've come to an understanding that if you... Oh, this could be a good rune. If you really want to grow your channel, then you have to release a large enough quantity as well. Because you aren't relevant if you don't have either enough content to satisfy enough people to, you know, increase the size of your channel, because not everyone who watches your videos is going to subscribe, and not every subscriber is going to enjoy every one of your videos. So you have to find some sort of balance of catering to the largest audience and also creating, you know, enough good content in order to grow your channel. And what I want to do is I want to create a lot more videos so that I have a lot more content overall on my channel, you know. Not only does it look good, you know, just in terms of some outsider looking at your channel, if they see, okay, this person has a lot of videos, this person has uploaded recently, you know, all these different factors that play into an account's relevance and account's growth. But it also means there's going to be more to watch, right? And if someone can come onto the channel and they can go ahead and they can binge watch, you know, that's insane. There's nothing like that's going to grow a channel more than just a few binge watchers, you know? A few binge watchers are going to up the view count on every video because they just want to watch a bunch of Summoners War content, whether they're mindlessly watching it in the background as they play, or if they're watching it to somehow learn something from what I produce. If that's the case, you know, then that's great. and they're going to increase the numbers on all my videos, and maybe they'll talk to another binge watcher. Yeah, exactly, Starry Night's a binge watcher. And she grows the channel almost single-handedly. She's able to increase the view count on my videos just because she likes to binge watch, because she likes to listen to content, because she really is like, she's one of the people who learns from seeing other people do things, right? And so for her, like, learning Summoner's War has been, she watches me play and pays attention to the decisions I make and the steps that I take, and she learns so much from watching me. Whereas if I wrote down a list of things to do, told her exactly what to do, and made her a cookie cutter sheet, she might not learn as much as she would from just watching me do a stream like this, where I'm hardly doing anything. She'll be able to pick it apart and say, okay, I understand what this team is doing, I understand what this unit is doing for the team, and she's really good at learning that way. But back to the topic of account improvements, I want to start a series on Starry Night's account where I talk about where it started, how I was able to improve, how I really want to volunteer my services to the Summoners War community, because in the past few months even, I've done a lot of account giveaways, and the account giveaways don't benefit me at all, except unless you want to count the publication and the growth of my channel as a payment for giving away these accounts. But more than anything, I really enjoy building up accounts from the very beginning, and racing against time to get a Veramos, racing against time to get them into GB10 and get them farming 6-star runes. And I really enjoy that aspect of the game, which is why I started doing those giveaways. And so it'd be really cool, to show, in my opinion, to show people what I can do on an account and how I grow accounts, because I play on sometimes up to 5 accounts per day, farming on them. I've got my main, I've got my Leica account, I've got my little brother's account that I play on, and I help him progress as well. And of course I listen to all his decision-making skills. I get on Starry Night's account, I get on Starry Night's brother's account sometimes, and in the past few months I had the giveaway accounts where I got on too, so it was constantly me, switching around a bunch of different devices, doing a bunch of stuff, staying constantly interested in the game, and because all the accounts I'm on are at slightly different parts of the game. Because in terms of progression, it would be like my account would be here, Starry Night's account would be here, then we'd have the Leica account, then we'd have my brother's accounts down here, and then of course the giveaway account is just racing to catch up to where my brother's account is about at right now, within a month. So I think that it might be interesting for some people to watch what I do in terms of, grinding on accounts and spending my day. I've kind of wanted to do one of these kind of videos for a while. It'd be more of like a vlog video, slightly in the genre of humor, where I talk about a typical life for a Summoner's War fiend or something like that. I haven't really worked out what a title would be, but I think I'd have to decide the title before I wrote the script, so to speak, for what I would do in the video and what I'd talk about. But it would just be me talking about my daily habits as a Summoners War player who plays for like 12 to 14, sometimes 16 hours a day on this game, which is just ridiculous. To anyone who doesn't play Summoners War, that number is just ridiculous. But for anyone who plays Summoners War, it's like, that's not enough. You need to farm 28 to 36 hours a day if you want to see real progress. You need to be farming more than is humanly possible in order to catch up to these, high level players, in order to make any progress in comparison to those C3 players as a free to play player. Like, you gotta farm your butt off that much harder. You need to work on getting better units. You need to rune up the units you have. You need to, yeah, exactly. Day in the life of a summoner. Maybe it seems a little bit too vanilla for me. That would be the only issue with that title. I think it's a really clever and really smooth, straight to the point title. I just think that I would want whatever my title to be, whatever my title would be, to be more out there. In the background, you hear the result of Amazon not living up to their same-day delivery promise. It's pretty funny. Summoners War life in a nutshell. To talk about DHC a little bit, for anybody who's a fan of both games or is paying attention to the DHC below, pretty happy about being an Elder Drake B10. Makes a big difference in terms of how many coins you get per day. I mean, I'm seeing almost double the output of coins, even though, yeah, just consistently more coins per piece of gear when I sell it. A lot of 6-star gear, surprising amount of 6-star gear that I've been getting as drops. Something I've noticed when comparing the two games. It's so hard not to compare these two games because of the amount of similarities, right? Yes, I said they were dissimilar earlier, I know. They're dissimilar in a lot of ways. They're similar in about just as many. Maybe, perhaps even more. The rates in terms of dropping of gear, or in Summoner's War terms, runes, are... I would compare Elder Drake B10 to GB10 in 2016 in terms of rights, and that's just from what I've seen. But from what I've seen, DHC feels more random, or what random should be. Now, in my opinion, and right, I don't have enough of a technological background to, fully give you the details on this, but just from time spent in art, time spent living life, and understanding, certain concepts. For art specifically is where this is most relevant. It's almost impossible to actually make something random, right? Because humans are creatures that make things in patterns. I promise you this is going to come back around to the rates and summoners were in DHC. This is not just me going crazy talking about some irrelevant topic. But humans can't really create random. We can perceive random, when we see something when we see a group of things that doesn't belong together, that's random. But we're not really good at perceiving random. And since we create machines, and the machines create the random that is drop rates in Summoner's War, and perhaps even drop rates in DHC, those machines are inevitably following some sort of pattern. They're not 100% random. Whatever pattern they're following can, no matter how complex it is, can be broken down into some sort of algorithm that is creating the drop rates of whatever. And something about the algorithm that drops things in DHC, and this is a very, very small sample size, so this could be completely incorrect if anyone has sample size groups that are upwards of 1,000 different accounts, but that data not being totally available for DHC at this very moment. In my experience, between my main Summoner's War account and my main DHC account, the DHC drops seem to be more random, which is why I have been able to get such good or such decent pieces of gear, whereas sometimes in Summoner's War I feel like I'm farming for weeks before I get one piece or even see a piece of 6-star, or a 6-star rune in some accounts. So that could just be my perception, and I'm getting, my senses are getting dull, and I'm no longer seeing the good runes anymore because I'm just sinking into this black abyss of hopelessness as a result of not getting the runes that I specifically want. But in my experience, I've seen a far greater degree of randomness in terms of gear drops in DHC than I have in Summoner's War. That said, I've also farmed a lot less in DHC than I have Summoner's War. And in Summoner's War, maybe it's just now the drops are averaging out to what they should be in terms of probability. Although probability doesn't make all that much sense in Summoner's War either, if we're going to get onto the topic of accuracy and resistance. Whereas, 100% accuracy doesn't mean 100% chance that you're going to land your effect, even if it has a 100% harmful effect rate. And 22% violent proc rate seems like 100% when it's on the enemy's side and 0% when it's on your side. But I feel like those aspects of randomness also make Summoner's War what it is, even though it's rage-inducing. building off that, yes, I think it's frustrating a lot of the time when you're in Summoner's War and the things that should happen because you hit the accuracy cap, because your runes are runes are fast enough, and you still lose. Those things that happen are frustrating. But I think the same argument could be made for why the game is so interesting. The game wouldn't be interesting if every single thing in the game was predictable. And if you can control every single aspect of the game, yes, you could argue that there's a little bit more skill involved. But at the same time, where would the fun be in the game, right? If you knew that every third turn your unit was going to get an additional turn, and with this much accuracy your effect will always land every single time, and every so many runs you're going to get exactly the rune you want, then getting those things wouldn't be as exciting. It wouldn't be as exciting when you violent proc, when you violent proc 6 times in a row, or when the enemy violent procs and then you violent proc and then nobody violent procs and then you get a crazy lucky stun in RTA. That aspect of randomness can bring just as much excitement to the game as it can bring rage, which is why it's one of the reasons why I really, really enjoy Summoner's War, because yes, this game pisses me off. There's some days I get on this game and I'm just like, why do I play this, but then there's some days I get on where I'm like, Faye just violent procced 4 times in arena and single-handedly took out the entire enemy team. That was really funny, and even in terms of rune drop rates, the runes, the rune drop rates, yeah, I get it. You don't get the runes you want. It's frustrating. If you've been playing this game for 4 years and you still can't rune up some of the nat 5s that you've spent $20,000 to get, which I understand is a very small amount of the player base, but some of the most significant players in the game, experience that. I get it, it's frustrating. But at the same time, to those people who are free to play and don't have the money to go constantly spend on packs or anything like that, when you get those 2 scroll nat 5s, you're on top of the world. And then you got your Samath on your free to play account and you're destroying noobs. No, you're not. You're getting your butt handed to you by people who can afford re-app stones is what happens. But there's so many aspects of this game that are fun because they're random. Which is, I think that's part of the reason why I can play this game after, even everything that happened on my first account. After my first account got banned, I thought I would, leave Summoner's War and never come back. I was surprised that I came back. Oh, God, I'm so glad I didn't power that up. I think that's part of the reason why I came back, probably close to 7 or 8 months later, why I came back to the game with a new account, because there's something about this game that just drives me to continue playing it, that makes me want to progress more and more, that makes me want to get those better runes and get those better units and rise as far as I can in the leaderboard. Something just about it is that much fun for me, and I just, for the time being, I really, really enjoy this game. And I enjoy being able to sit there and laugh when people rage about getting violent procced on. It's just something you have to expect, and if you don't expect it, then yeah, of course your result is going to be anger or despair or or just absolute rage in some cases. But something about it is entertaining and fun, and it's just refreshing in a game to not be able to control all the variables. As crazy as that is for me, especially because I'm a real control freak in terms of video games, not as much in terms of life. When it comes to my own body, even though I'm eating these cookies, when it comes to things that I put in my body, I don't want to get way too off track off of gaming, but it's I wouldn't do drugs, because for me it's the idea of not being in control of my actions just kind of irks me, and it gives me a little bit of a tick. And the same thing applies to games usually, and usually it's I don't know what's going on, or I can't control the game, and so I'm pissed at the game. I'm upset that I can't control the outcome of the game. It doesn't make sense because it's a game and I'm supposed to be in control. But I don't really get that feeling in Summoner's War, and there's something kind of nice about just letting my team do its thing. I know I've been blabbering a lot this stream, but Nobody wants to sit here and just stare at me staring at a screen. There's nothing entertaining about that. And the stream's supposed to be entertaining for everybody, me included. And I know for sure I don't want to sit here in silence and look like a crazy person. Oh, there goes DHC. I expected it to do it more times than that this stream. I told you guys, these cookies are falling apart. Yeah, I am really passionate about Summoner's War. So another thing that has to do directly with streaming. I'm not even sure how many people. I would not blame people if they didn't watch this video on YouTube either. Nobody wants to watch a 2-hour video talking about nothing. Morning Renab. Came in towards the end of that, but I think I agree. The AI could be improved, but its derpness makes for interesting optimizing. Exactly. Because what you do when you progress in this game, you don't... Yes, you make your units better in terms of stats, but the AI doesn't change. The AI never changes no matter how far you are into the game, and so you can still experience some of those troubles that you had in the beginning. All you really do when you progress through the game, when you get further into the game, is reduce the inconsistency, right? Is control as much or as many of those variables as you can. And that's really all you can do and all you can hope for in the game, you know, is build your team as well as possible to compensate for the crap that's going to happen no matter what, right? Theomars is going to violent. You're going to go into Guild Wars, Theomars is going to violent. And I know this going into every Guild Wars ever. And even though I haven't experienced an insane amount of Theomars, you know, in my time playing the game, I've experienced enough of it where I'm in TOA expecting this dude to violent proc 4 times in TOA hard. And so I'm in TOA hard thinking, I gotta CC this Theomars so he doesn't violent proc my entire team away or violent proc my Beretta to death, you know? And that's just because I always go in with this mindset of, I see Theomars in Guild Wars, he's gonna violent proc, you know? It's gonna be a double violent proc. And you just have to build your team to fight that AI and fight that randomness. And that's why it's so fun, because you go in there like sitting there all scrunched up staring at your screen, you know, just like, oh please Theo, don't proc, or Theo, don't focus that target, go focus the tank please. And then Theo gets 500 IQ and doesn't attack your Rakan. He goes for your who would it be on even on a Rakan team? Because you got Rakan, who would be your Theo counter? Doesn't matter. Maybe you're Lucian, maybe you're trying to nuke. Then Theomars goes for the Lucian, whose will runes just got stripped by Orion, you know? Like, you just have to be ready for the crazy RNG that isn't going to work. But that's fun. That's fun in a game. It wouldn't be fun if you went in there and you're like, I know what 3 units to bring. Theomars can never ever possibly kill this team. Click play, you know? That's something you do when you're endgame, or something you do when your rune quality or your units are just that much better than the enemy. And at that point in time, you're not even playing a fair game. You know, you're fighting someone who's weaker than you. You're just annihilating someone who's lower level than you, which is a totally Hippocratic statement coming from me, especially since I'm in a farming guild right now, so that I could crush noobs and get more guild points. But that's not my point. My point is, you don't go into an even battle and just know you're gonna win. Ever. There should never be a point in the game where you hit that, and that's why the game is fun. And even if you do, the enemy can still violent proc. Which is why RTA is really fun. I really want to get into RTA more. This is all tying back around to me pulling that Samath. I really want to build that Samath. I'm so scared though. I'm not gonna have the crystals to farm enough on the like icon is the only issue. So I'm gonna have to wait till next like TOA reset in order to really like make him shine. So what, 2 weeks? 2 weeks till I really get to play with my Samath. Doesn't matter, I got a Samath though. Jesus Samath, thank you. I wish I had gotten it on my main. Not to be ungrateful. Not to be, I'm so great. Thank you, come to us. Praise our in Jesus. I didn't expect to get it. But I feel poorly equipped to rune this guy up. I'm going through my runes right now. I'm trying to check for any potential runes that would be good on him. This one's pretty nice. This crit damage rune. I've got a few things. I've got a few runes. The account you're watching is my main. The account that pulled it is my alternate account. And the account that we can't see anymore is my original account. Well, we can see it. We just can't access it. The problem is my lack of any sort of... I don't have any good attack percentage runes. I might end up having him on Despair hacked or something. No, I actually got banned. I actually got banned by Comtois for a reason that they refused to disclose to me after, God, I don't even know how many hours of talking to them. It was like a few weeks worth of, I mean, maybe a month and a half worth of conversation back and forth with Comtois. And for the first month, for the first like 5 or 6 weeks even, it was copy and pasted responses to everything I said. And I wrote detailed paragraphs. I wasn't at any time rude or disrespectful to them or throwing accusations or pointing fingers at them. You know, I was just asking, can you explain why my account was hacked? Can you, or, you know, why my account was banned? Can you talk to me about what's going on? Can I get at least some sort of information that is, you know, telling me why I no longer have access to this game that I've sunk? At the time, I had probably sunk $1,200 and over, you know, a few hundred hours into. It was probably a 8-month long, 9-month long existing account, but they didn't want to really give me any information about it. The first, like I said, the first like 5 or 6 weeks, they gave me copy and pasted responses saying your account has been banned for, I think they said unauthorized programs. I think that's what it said. It was unauthorized programs. And I was asking them, what does this mean? What unauthorized program are you referring to? Like, I even told them, I said, here are the devices I play on. I play on my iPhone 5. Here are the specs. Here's the model number if you need to confirm anything. Here are my Wi-Fi and internet settings. I record videos on YouTube if you want to check any data with what is shown on the videos for my account, so I have physical proof that this is my account. Here is how I've progressed, like if there's anything. And it wasn't till I hit Conqueror and Arena, and it wasn't I don't even think I stayed Conqueror. I don't know, because it was before I was able to log back into my account to check the Arena results that I found out that my account was banned. So I had stayed up all night, and this was the first, and it was like 7 or 8 months into the account before I did my first ever rush hour. I just learned about the benefits of rush hour, potentially getting good units, getting crystals back, and all this. And I went in there with my team, and I think I hit Conqueror 1 from attacks, and that was with like 30 minutes left, right? And so within those last 30 minutes, I probably got annihilated all the way back down to Fighter 2. But it was the first time I'd ever done an arena rush, and previously I'd only finished like Challenger 3 in my arenas because I just didn't do arena. I farmed with a slime on defense for arena points to get my Devilmon and level up my Glory Towers. And it was the first time I ever did rush, and I got up to Conqueror. I was super excited, and I go on the next day to see what I got. And your account has been banned for unauthorized programs. And so I assumed it was because of the arena, the slight, the huge jump in progress that, I had jumped essentially an entire group of rankings to get up to Conqueror 1, or that I hit that in one night I was able to hit up to Conqueror, and I hadn't done that before. I don't understand what it was, but they never told me. And I finally, after like 6 weeks, maybe even 7 weeks, Got a response from a real person after I'd asked so many times. I'm like, well, can I speak to somebody who's going to let me know? Can you give me a phone call? Can you give me a real email? Some sort of response. And they're like, sorry, sir, we can only contact you through the authorized Hive programs. And I'm like, okay, well, can I talk to a real person through it then? And what they told me was, they said, what was it? It was like, I'm sorry, we can't tell you for like privacy reasons or for the sake of our like system. We can't tell you why you're banned, but you're banned. Like, and that was it. And that was the end of it. And I left the game. Oh my god. It must have been 7 or 8 months. I'm sure I can find it on my channel if I just if I just check the gap between videos, because it was a fairly significant gap of time. And I thought I was never coming back to Summoners War after that because I was pissed. I was able to get chargebacks for some of the purchases, which was nice because I still had rent to pay and phone bill. But I was able to do some chargebacks in order to get at least some of my money back from what they took. But I mean, yeah, I was like hell bent on like never coming back to the game. I was like, nope. Let's see. Year ago. Seven months. Oh, so no, there was only like a 4 or 5 month. Actually, that was a lot shorter than I thought it was. So it was like a 4 and a 5 month gap between being banned and starting my new account. Let's see when I publish this video. You're a trooper first to apply after that. I wouldn't touch the game with a 10-foot pole if they pulled that. You know, I honestly, I didn't think I would either. There's just something that draws me to the game. So, no, actually, as of today, it's been a year and 3 days since my account was banned. So, oh man, I really wanted to screenshot and talk about that on a video. I was going to pull that up on screen, check my friends list, because actually, the funny thing, right, and I can talk about the origin of this account. This was my brother's account. Before I renamed it or reset the account and renamed it, this was actually my brother's account, which was friended to my original account. Shut up, stomach. I know you had a bunch of cookies. And I could find it in here. Blah, 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 blah. The original WestOreos account. 370 days. So 5 days, a year and 5 days ago, is when my original account was banned. And we can go ahead and take a look at it and get nostalgic, because there are some units that I miss. This one in particular, my Teor. I miss my Teor. But my Teor was garbage. I remember at the time, like, having my Teor, and Starry Night decorated my island. That's why there's decorations in a purple heart here. But here are all my Nat 5s, and I actually pulled most of them. I pulled most of them on this account, which is crazy. I pulled Eladriel, I pulled Xingji, I pulled Poseidon, and I pulled Sekhmet. So all but 3 of my original like Nat 5s that I got on that account I've actually pulled on my new account, which is crazy. Not the one I've wanted. Of course, I want to pull Teor just for nostalgia's sake, and because he's an insane unit, of course. But like, I mean, I remember thinking that my Teor was like the thing to have. Like, I was like, oh, my runes are so good. I remember having him all runed up and being super excited about him. But my Julie was pretty trash, and oh, she was on Violent. That was the thing. She lost her slot 2 for Chasun. That's what happened. Is I pulled a Chasun and I lost it. I was super excited to have all of these girls, all the Sky Dancers finally, because like I had never pulled Sky Dancers, and then all of a sudden I like pulled all of them, and I think I was actually skilling up Miang. Yeah, she was getting Devils, I think. But I just wanted to have all 3 of them runed up, and I think that's when they started talking about Guild Siege way back then, as when they first announced that they were going to have some sort of guild battle, and they sent like the beginning pictures. I could be wrong. I could have been more recent than that, but I feel like they've been hyping it up for a long time. All I knew was that I wanted to build a team that used like all 3 of the Sky Dancers, and I was super excited because I had just gotten the Beach Girl transmog for Chasun and whatever and all that. But yeah, my, you know, like this was my Violent Sig. He was pretty good for Violent runes. I didn't get any of these Violent runes from farming dragons. I actually got all these from like a runecraft. I had this Violent Sig since like the very beginning of the game. It was like my third weekend or fourth week into the game. There was some sort of event that happened where it was like you got these violent runecrafts, and then I got some sort of pack early on that gave me violent runes, and it was like all the violent runes I got from it were viable. Like I got this rune, and I'm like, that's a pretty decent rune. And this Violent Sigmaris like carried me through the early game. Wow, not everybody's a big DHC fan, I know. This is a good bracer slot piece of gear. That's pretty exciting. But yeah, like, holy crap, memory lane. Like my units were all so slow. Like if you look at these units, I mean, they were squishy, they were slow. I mean, he had stupid accuracy, but did he have accuracy? No, he didn't even have accuracy slot 6. He just had high accuracy subs. I remember thinking like, oh, 160 speed, that's a pretty good support. Like what are you thinking, dude? I've rewatched some of my old content, and it's like, I'm like, are you a moron? I feel like my time away from Summoner's War, you know, I don't know. It's like I got a whole refresh, and I came back to Summoner's War with like a whole new, like from the ground mindset, which is like why in 8 months I've been able to progress more than I feel like a lot of people have progressed in like multiple years. My guild leader of my current guild, and don't get me wrong, I understand. Don't get me wrong, I understand that not everyone has the amount of time I have to spend into the game, and I totally get that. You know, I spend a stupid amount of time in the game that is probably unhealthy. But there's people in my guild who have spent, I think it was like 1,400 days into the guild, and it's like, yeah, they have a crap ton of units and a crap ton of 6 stars, but you look at their runes and it's like, you wonder how they're even able to clear Giant Speed 10 with some of their stuff. So, this is just more on my account. Runes that need to be maxed. Like, man, there's just so much nostalgia. This was my speed crit, or my attack crit damage attack Tayor. Again, not a great unit. His runes are not great, but I remember being excited about him. Like, I was just so happy to have Tayor. Tayor was so much fun. I didn't really get to use him in Dragons a whole lot. My Beretta, this is what I really remember. My Beretta was slow as balls, and I was like, Beretta doesn't need to be fast for TOA. Beretta sucks. My Beretta had a stupid amount of crit rate. It was, oh man. I feel like I'm a good example of that. Play way too much for a healthy amount. I'm about 100 days into the game. Yeah, it's really easy to get sucked into the game. Yeah, Tayor is Tayor. Exactly. Multipliers are insane. Base stats are really amazing, except for his speed. His base speed sucks. And yeah. I mean, his base attack is good. You know, for an F5, it's still good. Base defense is low. Base HP good. I wish they increased his base HP. It sounds greedy. Tayor is still a really, really OP unit. Don't get me wrong. I would prefer if they increased his base HP to around 10 or 10,500. Just because, you know, it doesn't sound like a lot, but with HP substat, HP percentage substats, that can add up really quick. And if I had a Tayor on my account, he'd be a bruiser. Yes, I would have him mostly on, you know, on a damage build, but I'd want him around, you know, 20 to 25,000 HP so that he can survive some hits. Because, you know, yes, Tayor does insane damage. He can't one-shot an entire team in one turn, regardless, unless you're putting him on some crazy Fatal or crazy Rageblade build, and just relying on his third skill. And that's not what I'd build him for. I'd build him for high damage, but also some decent sustainability. But anyways, man, this is a ride in the past. I was all excited about my Spectra all the time, yep. Spectra got totally annihilated when I pulled my Tayor because I took all my good Swift Blade runes off. Hey Aries, how you doing? Yeah, it is a long time no see. I decided to do a random late night stream and just rant. Oh man, I've been ranting this entire time. It's good to see you in the stream. But yeah, when I pulled Tayor, Spectra got destroyed. My Bernard was slow. Super slow. Runes. Most of my runes aren't plus 15. That's another thing I see like on all my units. I'm like, runes aren't plus 15. What are you doing? It's crazy to look back now and see all this. My Bella I was fairly happy about. Because Violent Shield, yes, the HP was kind of low, but the defense was good. The speed was okay. Accuracy was good. I think my Vera was on a Violent build too. Man, this rune is hideous. I can't believe I even used this. Crit rate, crit damage, resistance, HP. Like, what are these substats? Jeez. And this is a way better Miang rune than anything, the Violent Miang rune. Doing fine, hope you guys are great. Yeah. Yeah, we're great. Just man, this is crazy. I remember Amir. I didn't fully understand his kit when I built him the first time, and oh boy, so many units. I had Hemos built for TOA, and then a bunch of untouched N5s. That's something that hasn't changed between my two accounts. Oh, also, I pulled her back when you could pull fusions from scrolls still. Fusion N5s from scrolls. Something that hasn't changed between the accounts though that is really, really funny, right? So I talked about having pulled the same units on my new account, right? Wind Monkey, Galadriel, Sekhmet, and Poseidon. The only unit built on both accounts is Poseidon. Like just like my last account, Poseidon is built, but if you look at the rest of them, they're just sitting there untouched. We've where are these guys at? Oh, actually, I put them in storage. They're storage guardians now. You can see them there. You can see Sekhmet, Xingji, and Eladriel just sitting there in storage, untouched, unloved, just like both accounts. But it's just like to use those units. I mean, first off, they're not really good for PVE content for the most part. Very niche PVE content, which is why they're untouched. Because yeah. Has your new account surpassed the blocked one already? Oh, by far, yeah. My new account has spent less time in the game too. My new account is at least a Conqueror 1 Arena level account. Yes, I have not hit Conqueror 1 in Arena, but 1, I don't have Elution, and 2, I've never rushed with all of my Arena wings available, which I know is a very good excuse. So, is today Sunday? Today is Sunday, isn't it? Well, here's my chance to fix that. So, here we go. We put up our defense. And this defense gets a surprising amount of arena wins. So the only thing that worries me about this defense is someone could hit it with a shield will comp and I can get blindsided and destroyed, which is, you know, it's whatever. If people are going to destroy me, they're going to destroy me anyways. But, and it's not rush hour time yet either. So I should probably use up my wings for now and then have my rank just kind of secured at least fighter 3. Like some of these defenses though. Yeah, but my new account has surpassed it by far, at least in terms of runes. In the terms of the total number of 6 stars, I think they're about the same number of 6 stars. I definitely have better units, barring Teor, of course, on this account. Look at this. Boom, 11k Bernard. My Bernard is a crit damage slot 4, just for the sake of speed. And actually, it works really well sometimes having Bernard on a crit damage slot 4, just because he'll just go nuts and hit for big damage. AD, I've been using Pisama, Icarus, Beta Garo, but I'm thinking of doing Pisama on my Arena Garo. On AD, ooh, I think I like the first team depending on your speed. And are you running will runes on anybody? That's another question I have. Because I feel like if you're running will runes on Beta, it can be good. Beta and Icarus probably. Because I think the first thing they're going to do when they get there is probably try to ignore Pisama or stun Pisama. Or they could just try to face nuke it, which some people might try to do. But if they went about it smart, they'd probably try to CC down Samath and then destroy Beta, because Beta's scary. Beta's good though. Beta's a really sick AD monster, especially if you have it built on good runes. I'm guessing you have her on Violent something. Oh, Shield Nem. Oh, I really like that. Yeah, of course, Gyro's on Vampire. That's the best way to build him. Oh, I'm screwed. I'll be right back. I need to get ice pack for my phone. When I stream and play Summoner's War for a really long time, which it's been 10 hours since it's had a break, phone gets hot and I don't want to destroy the battery. C2, that's nice, dude. What's your AO? Or your, like, standard cleave AO? Because I'm sure you have multiple decks set up for Arena. I don't like this team at all. Uh-oh. This team could be really, really annoying depending on the rune sets I'm going up against. Now, can I beat this? It depends. It depends if there's will. If there's will sets, I'm probably screwed. The big problem I have with my account right now, in terms of... Oh, I got it. As long as Poseidon doesn't derp on Chloe. The big problem I have with my account in Arena right now, or at least something that I could potentially change that could lead to more success in Arena, is I either need to rune up my second galleon, which is probably what's going to end up happening, or one of my other galleons, where I'm going to have to make my Chiwu a lot faster. Now, right now my Chiwu is on Despair, which accounts for his lack of speed for the most part, but I don't know if I want to take him off of it. I just really, really like Chiwu on Despair. To see if we can see the terrible AI in offense. Yeah, I definitely do want to see your defense. You want to RTA me? You can go in 3750 so I can check it out. Sounds pretty scary though. You're probably gonna outspeed me just by speed towers alone. I've got like no levels into towers. Well, I've got like level 7 speed tower, which is only halfway. Yeah, it's about halfway. Okay, let's just kill this Rena real quick. Oh god, are we gonna be able to kill this Rena? Yeah, 3750 has always been my channel. Okay, let's can we ignore... Oh, come on. Oh, that works. Goodbye, Camilla. This is why I like Faye. Faye is a super inconsistent Arena offense unit. Now see, this is why I wish I pulled Samath on my main. Because Samath could replace Faye. Sorry to say that, Faye, don't get offended. But with Galleon in my team already, it's pretty good. So, problems with my team. Problems with my AO. Galleon is fast. Poseidon can't keep up. Poseidon is on Despair as well. So I don't have any other Swift units besides Bernard and Galleon. Or at least ruined on fast Swift sets right now. Who I would like to be faster is Chiwu, and Chiwu only has to be what? 200 and... So 220, so it's 228, so he has to be more than that. Like 230 something? Because Chiwu's base speed is lower than Galleon's, which means the speed lead is going to affect it. So Chiwu needs to be like 10 speed or whatever faster. I have a way to speed tune. I have an application that lets me do it, so I don't have to think as much. Yeah, so 5 speed difference, I mean, that's going to be the difference of like 2 or 3 speed, so I just make him 4 or 5 speed faster total. Don't get offended, I got that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can see he's 220 speed, and my Galleon is 228 speed. So Chiwu needs a little bit more speed to be faster than Galleon, and I could find that. I guess I could find that in a slot 5. Actually, I could probably do that right now. I know free removal's coming up. Don't cringe, please. I want to play around with it because I guarantee if I rush tonight, I'm gonna encounter a team where it just looks like there has to be will in it. Cause you know, you just see some teams and you're like, that team's got will. Cause it just has to in order to work. Either that or someone's smoking something. Oh, what is this rune? Why is this in my box? See, this is what happens when you keep all the runes and then decide to sell them later. You find these like crazy runes that don't make any sense in your box. Also, I could find a faster HP rune, but I highly doubt I'm going to find a faster HP rune. That's 18 speed. I can't compete with that. That's 16 speed. That's 15 speed. Man, this just sucks right now. I guess I could power this up real quick and hope. You probably typed in chat. I should probably do this later and just check out your defense right now because I'm really curious to see how it performs. Oh, Jesus. That's terrible. Not the cookie. Alright. Let's go... Where's the battle request? Yeah, so just put your team up and then put like a slime or something. And I'll do the same thing. So what'd you say your team was? You said your team didn't have Will. If I saw that team, would I think it would have Will? Maybe. I don't think it'd bring Chiwa though. Have you played with the boom tracks at all? In your time playing? I know some people haven't pulled the ones they wanted. But I am super hyped about building them. Sorry if you guys hear that ice pack. I got some Kirby ice pack. Banning Pisama. I played with the boom shocks, yeah. Apparently they're really good. I've seen some Guardian level accounts, and yes, Guardian level accounts have insane runes, but I've seen some Guardian level accounts get some ridiculous times with them. Really cool in DB10. They're also really cool in GB10. You could do dual water boom chocks and then double Lucian Galleon, or did I see? I think I said double Lucian Galleon or double Lucian something. Just double Lucian attack bar or attack buffer. Works really well. Oh, you didn't outspeed me, thank God. So the problem is this a problem? Yeah, my Poseidon could be faster. The big thing here is CCing you, but you're gonna put up immunity anyways. You're gonna put up immunity, right, before Faye's able to attack? No. Ho ho ho. So I can either get lucky and kill Icarus. Oh, Nemesis is so annoying. It's okay, Faye violent procced. Hey, violent proc again, Faye! Oh no. This is where... Okay, so Icarus is dead, so there's no one hitting my Faye with Icarus. It doesn't matter what I do, really. Yeah. And Garo's probably going to one-hit Faye, right? Oh, no, Bernard, right? Elemental advantage, I'm an idiot. Faye's just going to violent proc every turn and not... Wait, why didn't you proc in the second skill, Faye? It's a lot less scary knowing it's on auto, because I feel like there's a lot bigger chance that the AI is going to derp. I think that's the biggest thing here. So there goes Icarus for the second time. That hurts really bad. I have to drag an attack here because Samath is going to kill me. Oh, and I might kill Samath here. No, I won't. Okay, we're good. And now I would lose at this point because my Poseidon isn't on a damage build. So at this point, I couldn't out-sustain you or out-damage you. But if I had Poseidon on a damage build, I'd still be screwed. Also, I don't think this was the best team to bring into it if I were to bring a team into it. Although I couldn't think of another team I would bring. And if I kill Samath here, I'm dead anyways. It's a lose-lose. Hey, but I got close. I got close. Just remember, I haven't touched raids. That was cool though. I like your team. I don't think it derped that bad. Here, let's show this again. I want to play around with some stuff. This is a good way to test arena defenses. I haven't thought about that before. It'd be fun to test this out with Starry Knight's account, only because Starry Knight's account is like more on my level. You got a bit of luck with the AI though. Usually they only they only skill one. I got a little bit, yeah. I think I would try this out against Starry Knight if I was going to try out my defense. Well, let's see what else I could bring to here, right? So, you only have one water unit, right? The thing is, yeah, I don't know what else I could bring. That's the big problem. I kind of wish my Vero was still in a damage build, because then I would have some CC and some element neutral damage. But I don't think anything that I bring here helps. Also, I don't have... No, I wouldn't bring Charlotte to this either. I guess I just try the same thing again. Yeah. Honestly, RNG was on my side too. The bad thing is that you can't test evolution. Yeah. I guess you can't test evolution. But devolution, I mean, how often are you going to use devolution in defense though, right? I mean, I guess you could. I guess you could do Bernard Bastet devolution. I guess that'd be a pretty decent defense if you knew that your Bernard was 350 speed and your all that kind of stuff. I'm actually surprised. I know I have a Bernard on my team. I'm actually surprised. Like, I need to look at these attack bars again. That my speed is even that your speed isn't closer. Although I don't know how fast your units are. I mean, what your units are 200 and no, because you have the bigger speed lead, so your units are like 200 speed or maybe even a little bit less. Wow. Typical Galleon. And here comes the immunity. That doesn't come with a cleanse though. I guess that's one upside. I guess I could go for killing Pisama really quick. Don't kill him. I guess this would be the strategy. Hope I don't get despair stunned. I didn't. Oh, but he gets... Okay, so he's got Grant Life. And he's still got Nemesis, but yeah, he moves first. So I get double overwhelmed anyways. Okay. So what's good here? You have 2 passive-based units. Oblivion's pretty good here. Yeah, did you see that Galleon though? Galleon's like, nah, we're not armor breaking today. It's okay. That's why I'm not doing speed DB10 right now, because Galleon decides he wants to do that. Because every time I use Galleon in speed DB10, he thinks like, I don't know. I guess he thinks his second skill does like 50k damage or something, because he's like, Dragon's full health, gotta one-hit it. What are you doing? Oh, your Icarus. I thought your Icarus has more HP. I want to see your stats, actually. Here, let me go check out your stats. I really like the team, though. I think that team is really interesting. I think... I guess just a Tiana would kill out. I guess you could do Tiana or Chiwu. But like, Tiana, Ganymede, Galleon, Nuker kills that team really easy. We could see our defense is working every week. I know, right? You went up a rank though since the last time I used to stream a lot, right? I feel like you were C1 before. Also, something I get to see is how old your account is. I like that I can see that now. So, a little under 2 years old. Any suggestions for changes to bring them on? Of course. No problem, dude. That's a lot of fun, actually. I like to see new defenses. Hey, I see you're using Bay on your GB10 team. I freaking love Hraesvelg. He's super consistent, too. Everything about him is amazing. Because, you know, even if Galleon screws up and doesn't use his time to loot, Hraesvelg always uses his third skill. I've never seen a time where Hraesvelg prioritizes anything besides his third skill, which is freaking amazing. His AI is just so... It's so straightforward, which is why I like him. Let's see your monster box, too. Yeah, you did 6-star one of them. Sabrina. You ever run Violent? No, you ever run Fatal Blade. And your leftover runes, no doubt. Who was I checking out? So, my question is, so I just pulled a Samath, so I haven't had really any experience with him before except for dealing with him on defenses. Why do you make him fast? Only his name is shitty too hard, right? Why do you make him fast? That's my only question. Because it seems like, for the most part, almost no matter what, he's going to get a turn anyways. So what would be the upside to making him fast as opposed to, except for RTA maybe, what would be what would be the benefit to making him fast rather than just making him hit really, really hard? I understand the spare part. Make him fast for your arena offense. Okay, so you use him as one of your nukers. You pair him with Galleon, right? Also, another thing about Samath that I was excited about. Make it fast because num procs need to be faster than the other units. Oh, okay. I'm a huge fan of him in RTA. He's got some fun RTA stuff. I'm a huge fan of RTA, even though I haven't really done much RTA. I really enjoy the idea of doing RTA. I haven't had my hopes and dreams destroyed yet by G3 players, so you know, after ranks reset and G3s are like all at Challenger 1 rank for like 10 minutes. Samath, Megan, Bernard, Lucian. Really? Okay, so he's like, but he hits before your Lucian, I would assume, right? Because... Damn, no, your Lucian hits first. Unless you use your another Lucian. No, they're both fast. So he's backup nuker? And there for the speed lead, of course? Yeah, your main Lucian ended up with a lot of HP, holy crap. This crit damage rune, though. Man, how nice it would be to have grinds. Not yet, I need him faster. Working on that. Okay, yeah, so you do want him to go first, though. I was thinking that made sense. Because you have a lesser chance of proccing Nemesis with Samath's attack, right? Also, if Samath goes first, even if they are on Nemesis, you have a chance to stun them with Despair if they're not on Will. So you could have them stunned up so they don't get a turn even if they are on Nemesis. And then Lucian comes in to finish up. Yeah, I see where you're going with that. Must be nice having crazy in F5s. Hey, to be honest, the only thing I ask for on my main account, right? Only one thing in the world I want, and that's a Lucian. Don't mind my currently jank GB10 team. Charlotte and Vero got stripped for TOA. Jesus, these cookies are making my stomach like howl like a wolf. Nice thing about AO, Pisama fast, he can reset other Pisamas rest. Yeah, you know what? I totally forgot about that. That's why his second skill is so good, because it increases cooldown. The thing is, he's got so much stuff in his kit. There's so much that just makes him like an S tier Nat 5, you know? At least in terms of just regular arena, he's like S tier in my books, at least. Because he just brings so much to the table. He's got the potential strip on the first skill, increased cooldown on the second, he comes back with the third, his multipliers are strong, he's got that insane speed lead. I mean, he's nuts. The funny thing is, I just pulled him, right? I already had a Chiwu. I know Chiwu's speed lead is 9 speed slower. But I already pulled a Chiwu on the Leica account, and I was excited about that. So now I'm going to have to do probably Samath, Galleon, Bernard, +1. I was thinking Samath, Galleon, Bernard, Leica on defense until I get up to like Conqueror rating. That'll probably work against most people. Also, there's a dilemma for Pisama users, Will or Nem. Yeah. You know the answer to that question? You build a second piece on. That's what you do. You just build 2. Problem solved. God, look at this disgusting team. It does the same thing every time, too. Everything dies except for Lupinus, and then Lupinus goes in for the big damage. Doesn't matter, it hits sub 1 minute times, right? Oh, it's so gross. I miss having Charlotte and Vero on my team. Then you lose no units. It looks so beautiful. Also, you see Vero hitting for like 26k on the boss. Conclusion I came was that if you want more AO, well, it's better so we can reset, and then it's better for AD. But let me build a bunch of resist. Yeah. Definitely build one on well one. Yeah. Yeah, will is nice. Will runes are really nice. The thing is, even with will runes, because I mean, even on will runes though, you need some resistance. Not as much, but I mean, if you think about it, right? Because there's still a accuracy resistance check to determine whether or not you lose your will runes, whether or not they strip. Also, have you played with him in Guild Siege? Guild Siege and Guild Wars. Curious about how they perform there. I mean, of course, not nearly as strong. I don't know how that works too deep. Too much thought process required. Not enough RAM installed. Man, I'm burning through crystals like nobody's business. I should be farming Aiden Hell right now. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just getting tired of seeing Aiden Hell over and over again. But that's the stage Hraesveld can farm like 100% of the time, so. If I had my Rakan built on Vampire, I would at least try Chiruka, but he wouldn't survive otherwise. But that AD gets really crushed if I touch C3. Really? Do you know what people hit? Oh, I guess you don't. You don't know what people hit you with. Can you replay? I know you could replay the battles that you fight. Can you replay the battles you get destroyed at? That'd be really cool. It'd be cool to see what your defense gets taken down by. I feel like that wouldn't be OP at all because you'd be able to learn. Maybe if you're like, you know, not allowed to see their runes, of course, but see the team that they brought against you so that you can start to understand, where your team's weaknesses lie. That'd be nice. Swap Icarus for Orion. Can't replay Arena. I'd love to. That'd be cool because you could replay your offenses now. That was, I think, a cool addition. But I mean, the only thing you could really do is like rewatch getting like ridiculous violent procs or something. I think that's everybody's dream. Just don't get crushed by Lucian. But if that's your goal, I mean, you can just bring some stupid stall defense. Like what, double fire, mummy, double Rena? You're going for more though. That defense has potential to win, I'm sure. Whatever you do, you should never make Betta leave. Betta's so good. Oh, Betta's so good. And you said she's on Violent, right? Or no, you said she was Nemwell. You said she was Nemwell. I don't know. I kind of like Betta on Violent. Maybe not as much for defense. Yeah, maybe on defense. I don't know. I just like the idea of her always having her, or increasing the uptime on her revive. Man, these runs need to slow down. You get anything good from your TOA hard scroll? Or anything notable, at least? I was spending a ridiculous amount of time doing TOA hard, and it was like a few days. I have 2 betas. I'm planning something shady. Oh man. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm gonna preemptively call the cops on you. Call the summoners war, please. That's disgusting though, 2 betas. That's really cool. You could try out different rune builds. I spent like 3 or 4 hours doing TOA, and then I pulled this asshole again. Julian. Julian? I think it's Julian. Or Julianne. It's Julian or no, Julianne. Julianne is the light vampire, right? Let's see. Yeah, he's Julianne. Light vampire is Julianne. But I pulled another one of him. Very briefly, I was like, okay, see how it is summoners were. That's the wrong win nat for. It's the wrong one. He's a new one though, actually. Prior to that scroll, I didn't have one, so I guess it helped me complete the monster collection Pokédex. But yeah, wrong wind nuker. But then I remembered, oh yeah, he's a skill up for Luer, because I do want to build Luer for a fun composition I have in mind. Using Vio 200 beta on the mate on first man. As soon as I get attacked a few times, I swap on the Swift 280. Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah, that's really smart. I like that idea. I like that idea if you had like, imagine if you had doubles of one, you know, of an entire comp, right? So 2 of each, so having 8 monsters total, 2 of each monster that you use in a composition, and you have like a really beefy shield will bruiser team to start, and then you switch them out with the exact same units that are on some crazy fast cleave build, right? That'd be nuts. So you let yourself get attacked a bunch, and then you use all your wings revenging those people, but you switch out your teams. And so they're like, oh, this is the shield will team. I could bring in my Chiwu or my Tiana team or my Tiana Sierra team, and use an attack lead or something like that, you know. And they go to attack you, and you've got this fast cleave team that just rolls face over them. That'd be so good. The 200 IQ. I was impressed by a farmable team that smacked me across the face on the Leica account. It was a person who I eventually found them on the boards. They were like a G2 player, but like it was like right after reset or something, and I was like, oh, you know, I'll attack this defense, and it was like it had Vero, Spectra, Bella, and Bernard, and that was the team. And I'm like, oh, you know, this is a mediocre team or whatever. Like, this is just a team someone has because they use these units in TOA and everything. Everything was 6-starred. No transmags or anything when I went in there either. And I went with my, it was Bernard, Megan, Lucian, Leica. And that's the team that I brought into it. And I went into there, and it was like, Bernard was like 340 speed. He had to be, because he was double the speed of my Megan, and no speed lead. He was double speed of my Megan. Bernard moved, Spectra moved, Bella moved, Vero moved, and then Bernard moved again. After my Bernard moved, his Bernard cut it again, and I was like, holy crap. And I saw this team, and I'm like, this is like the ultimate like screw you team from a high level player, you know. Using farmable monsters to give people the false sense of security. I was like, this is great. And I got face rolled by it, and I was like, man, that's crazy. Like, why'd you put this rune quality on these monsters? Of course Bernard made sense, but like the Spectra, Vero, Bella were also extremely fast, like 250 speed or more, and on violent. So somebody just wanted to flex the farmable units. Don't get me wrong, I love the farmable units, you know? I think Vero's like one of the best consistency-based nukers in the game. He's one of those. He's got one of those AIs that just can't fail you because it's in his kit not to fail you. That's why Vero's so much fun. That's why I like him for GB10 actually. I like him for DB10 too, like speed DB10. Vero Nuker. If you could get him like speed crit damage attack on violent, oh my god, your team will have so much consistency. Especially if you can put in a nuker with like strip in there or just enough damage where you just don't care anymore. I mean, Vero hits as hard as Theo, so he's pretty sick. And with the second skill with some CC too, because like the big place your speed team can die if your entire team derps is like the mid boss. Vero prevents that from ever happening. Because the stun is bound to hit somebody if you've got 55% accuracy. What was I looking for? I was looking for... Oh, I was going to feed these little bastards. Because I don't need the 1-stars. You see I'm desperately leveling things up. Vero, Bella, Raccoon, Darien defense can get G1. Oh, I bet it can. I bet if you put your best runes on him and you're like at least a C2 player, you can probably get the G1. Also, people usually don't know what to do against those compositions. I feel like they don't take it seriously, so they either take a stupid offense into it or just don't think it through. They're like, oh, I'll just cleave it. And then they get destroyed because it's just the rune quality. That's something that I feel like people can never get into their heads, is that Summoner's War, it's like beyond anything else, except for Lucian in this game. You can conquer just about everything, like just by smashing it with sheer rune quality. And that's the truth for like most dungeon areas in the game. Yes, you need the core mechanics, but if you have the core mechanics, which is pretty simple to get for most dungeons, you can just overpower the dungeon with rune quality, which is why just about any composition works for Giants B10 if you have good runes. You know? Avoid multi hits, have either big damage or a lot of healing and cleansing. You know, and there you go, GG. And also Raccooni's insane too. Especially a good Raccoon, like a fast, violent Raccoon. Jeez. I mean, come on. Fast, violent Raccoon can solo Dragons B10. I think it could solo a few G1 players. Let's see. We got 17 minutes left on the stream. That's true, runes greater than all, yeah. But Yanhong, though, yeah. True. True. Sometimes Yanhong is greater than runes. Yeah. But I'm 400 speed. But you're against a Yanhong, you lose. I reset the Yanhong. Doesn't matter, Yanhong's gonna violent proc 10 times over, heal her entire team, and then strip you. And then in addition to that, she's gonna be on violent. She's gonna be on violent blade. She's gonna hit you with those mean crits. Unless the defense is Yanhong, Lang Visa, and a $40 bill. Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, Yanhong is cancer. I was, I think I was only Fighter 2 last week, just clearing some defenses, and one of the Fighter 2 defenses had a Yanhong, and I'm like, I don't care if it's only Fighter 2, I'm not touching that. Oh boy. I saw, oh my god, who did I see? Barian. Barian's Yanhong, freaking disgusting. His damage Yanhong is violent something. I can't remember what it was. I wish I could find it. I'll find it somewhere. I'll find out the stats. But his Yanhong is insane. Yeah, exactly, Barry. Yeah, Yanhong eats cancer clusters for breakfast. Barbarian's Yanhong is like speed crit damage attack, and it's nutty. It's I gotta find these stats. Got wrecked thinking I could take on only one Yanhong. Really? You got wrecked by solo Yanhong? Actually, Barian's probably on the leaderboard, isn't he? Yeah, no, he probably is on the leaderboard, right? Is Barian global? Am I an idiot for asking that question? Is Barian global? We'll find out right now. If not, I could just check RTA, because I'm sure he's G3 in RTA. Oops, not this. Info. Come on, Barian. Don't let me down. You're insane. Yan Hong doesn't make sense. Her skill is getting full health and full attack. Exactly, right? It's like, wait, it doesn't add up. Yeah, here we go. Hey, I can't click on his account. He is global though. Or he's got you. Yeah. Why is this not a thing? Why can't I check him based on his RTA? Oh, there's Highlander. Isn't that the guy who took over Foi's account? Highlander? I just feel like Foi's account was named Foilander at one point. Because he was talking about something that him and Highlander had going on. Which is crazy, because Foi's another one of those people who just has a stupid, insane account. Playing around with his crazy, like, it was triple Leo, light, God, what's his name? Triple Leo light something team. It's a weird piece of gear. Light. Oh, I'm gonna feel like an idiot when I can't remember this. Light. Come on, dude. Pioneer. Triple Leo light Pioneer team. That team was nuts too, because the Leos don't interact with each other. Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense. I found out too late. Yeah, you did find out too late. And then going again because full attack bar if she procs GG full. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, her uptime on that skill is ridiculous. I feel like the only way to nerf Yan Hong is to, 1, limit violent procs to not being allowed on Yan Hong. 2, increasing her cooldown by 1 turn. What's the guild? What guild is that you're in? Some basic farming guild. Hey, look, you're plussing up your runes. That's a first. Mr. plus 13. Yeah, I'm in this basic farming guild. Mostly because I can hit 30% contribution pretty easily. Most of the time, like I think it's limited. The rewards are limited to 30% contribution. For the most part, I can hit up to 40, sometimes 50% contribution. I can hit pretty high contribution rate though. Also, I have all the accounts in here now. I have my main account, my second account, yeah, in Siege, my secondary account, and Starry Night's account, all in the same guild. That was the big reason we could get them all in the same guild, and every account has an equal chance to contribute something and get points. The Leica account was just not getting points because I didn't have time with the giveaway accounts that I was making, so I ended up spending a lot of time not doing Guild Wars at all on the account. So I decided to leave the guild it was in, since it was just sitting there taking 10 points a week or whatever, and no bonus crystals or anything, and joined this farming guild where the Leica account actually has a chance at destroying some defenses, getting some guild points, and maybe eventually getting an Ifrit, because that Leica account has summoned 0 Ifrits so far. Trying to get your Theo. How many pieces do you have? Like 60 now, right? 50, 60? Because you've summoned 3 Emirs in a row. It's okay. The one after this next one, you're guaranteed a new one because you get to pick yours. It's like part of the achievement. I got there. I'd probably miss your 30%, right? Yeah. Yeah, if anybody who actually like fought in the, if anyone else in the guild actually attacked anything or was actually able to, I'll go ahead and show you my guild leaders. I don't like to shout people out in a bad way if they're doing things wrong, but when I see accounts that have been around for this long and have this rune quality, I just get depressed. So here we go, right? 1200 days, right? So this is roughly 3.5 years, right? Somebody be my human calculator. 350 times 3 is like 1,000 days, and then like 150 extra days. So yeah, this is just about 3 years. So 3-year-old account, 3.5-year-old account. I mean, we could go ahead and visit the island. We're going to see a bunch of 6 stars and a bunch of net 5s, right? Here's the list of 6 stars. Any new player who looked at this would be like, holy crap, such a pro, oh my god, look at all those 6-star units. But the rune quality was like depressing on some of these. Like, I mean, the highest they've gotten to in arena, their arena record is Fighter 3, and to have played this game for 3 years, and to only have progressed to Fighter 3 means either you don't really take the game seriously or you don't know what you're doing. And I don't understand what it is. I don't understand, like, and this is just my mindset, you know. I'm not trying to judge people here, because I understand there's some people who just aren't that into the game where they want to spend all day every day farming, or want to spend all their time and resources on the game. But I couldn't imagine playing a game for this. Look at all these, oh my god, so many rare discs. It's like finding 3 mystical scrolls in a shop. That's what this is. This game is insanely good about giving you summons. It's okay, you don't get lightning from them. Yeah, I couldn't play a game for 3 years. Yeah, Guild Leader sees the video and immediately kicks me. They're not gonna kick their top contributor, even if I do trash talk. But seeing that just makes me a little bit sad, because I'm like, I don't understand how you could play a game for that long and not have any sort of drive to like go further in it, because you know after that amount of time, especially with those units, that they could really be further in the game than what they are, which is, you know, it's just upsetting to see, because I'm like, give me those units, come on, where's my Lucian, come to us, where's my Lucian? Still waiting here. But oh my god, I can't even do arena in this game. My rank is too high. I am the conqueror 1 of this game essentially, and it's terrible because I can't even do anything in arena. Because everybody else who's at this rank is actually good. I'm only winning because my defense is a real defense instead of some fake crap. There's challengers. Imagine that they don't even play the game. They're not gonna watch. Oh man, you're savage. But look at this. Look at this, right? I mean, this Galleon though. This Theomars. Oh, I was disgusted when I saw this Chow. I'm like, what? Like, attack, crit damage, HP probably, right? HP, crit damage, attack. Like, what are these stats? No skill ups in any of these units? Tell me you've been playing for 3 years and you can't manage to skill up your units? Nothing has skill ups. Like, this is the kind of person where it's like, okay, your rune quality is good enough to clear Giants B10. What are you doing after that? And this is one of the better accounts too, actually, compared to the other ones. I mean, this is like this Lucian with 50. That's the recurring theme on this account though, is low crit rate. Any monster that needs crit rate. Hey, look, low crit rate, low crit rate, low crit rate, low crit rate. The only explanation I could come up with is they're using Tashar leaderships. Oh, this crit damage is gross. They're using Tashar. I need to find a guild like that. Where are they? They come to you, dude. Check your guild notifications. You'll get requests if you're not in a guild. I mean, Wind Panda's on a damage hike. It just couldn't even. The amount of units on this account and the lack of good runes with that many units, it's just crazy. It baffles me. Why, are you in a good guild? Are you worried about not being able to contribute enough? I would, but then I don't want to destroy Oreos' contribution. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm not saying I don't want you in a guild, because it'd be great. Eventually I want to make my own guild. But for the time being, I want to get to the point where I have enough units to have 30 units to participate in Guild Siege. And for the time being, I do, but half of my wins are with 5-star monsters that are unruined, unawakened. Don't get me wrong, I want you in the guild. Someday I'm going to make a cookie guild. And it's going to be 100% full of people in this community, you know, in the community of people I know, you know. So when I create that guild, I'll make sure to be I'll make sure you'll be one of the first people I let know. And then you can carry us through some guild wars. So I do want to make that guild eventually, just because I want to be able to control the war times. I want there to be consistent communication. I'm like lurking in kill challenge for a guild. I CG when I downvote. As you eat a cookie too. Yeah, you know, I started thinking about naming it a cookie guild, and then I saw the cookies on the plate. Man. Brand stock's going over the roof. Little did you know, I'm sponsored by Oreos. No, it's a sponsorship I've been waiting for years. You know, if Oreos offered me a sponsorship where I'd get paid in cookies, I would take it I'd take it in a heartbeat. You know? It'd be ridiculous. You wouldn't even be able to like comprehend how fast I would be taking that deal before like you just see Oreos branded all over everything I did. Dungeon Hunter's crashed, but I'm not restarting it. Paid in cookies? Oh my god, yeah, I know, right? Here's what would happen, right? I would have to build a shelf behind me. I have to color coordinate it too, because you could see I color coordinated the banner to the chair. Even the shirt on accident. I'd have to build a shelf behind me to display it, and I'd just have all the packages of Oreos that I'm paid in. One day I'd be on stream and you'd see the dude, like some Oreo delivery guy, and he'd have like the Oreos branded like delivery gear on. And and he'd be in there with the pallet jack pushing the big old thick stack of pallets saran wrapped into my room and just drop it in the center of the floor. I would be able to get out of my chair and move out of here. You'd just see this big old fat stack of Oreos next to me. I'm not restarting because it's only 2 minutes left in the stream and it's not worth it. I'm out of energy anyways. Give you 30% of the cookie contribution. Yeah, I would. I'd pay my guild members. The top contributor each month would get shipped a package of Oreos. There we go. I've eaten so many sweets today, it's ridiculous. Like, RIP all the diet and exercising I've been doing over the past few weeks. Yeah, I'm glad you hopped on. I don't know what time zone you're in, so I don't know if this was... I don't know what time zone you're in, so I don't know why this was convenient for you. I was gonna do an early morning stream for one of my viewers because I have one of my viewers who I believe is in Europe. Let's see, he's way further ahead in time than us or than me. Yeah, I'd have to be like early, like 10 a.m. stream for me to get there on time. Because he said it was like 11 by him at 4 o'clock, so he's 7 hours ahead, yeah. When you don't have autocorrect. But nevertheless, it was awesome streaming. I haven't streamed in quite a while. I plan on streaming a lot more. So tell your friends, tell your kids, tell your wife. And if they say they're not interested, then tell them too bad and tell them to get on a device anyways. No, thank you guys all so much for watching. I love the stream. Streaming is always so much fun. I always like procrastinate on doing them and always like talk myself out or end up not doing them for whatever reason. But anytime I actually get to doing them, I really, really enjoy the streams because I could just non-stop talk and not have to worry about like staying within a certain perfect time for YouTube videos. But yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube and you enjoyed some of the stream video, then go ahead and check out the streams Go subscribe on twitch.tv/WestOreos. The link will be in the description. Any questions or comments, you could of course leave them below in the description of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next stream or video, whatever comes first. We'll see. Hey guys, it's West again. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe for more.